What gets you mad about personal development or the entrepreneurship niche? You can feel free we can discuss this at another time or handle it however you wish.
Wow, it's a big question. There's so many things that frustrate me about personal development. I would say one big thing is most personal development and self-help. Like I said just before, like I've been doing and learning personal development for 2 decades. 2 decades. Like I started before I finished high school. So I think 2 decades warrants like it's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And only in the last sort of 5 years, I started to build the philosophy of challenge everyone and challenge everything, not for the sake of proving people wrong on purpose to be in an ego way of like, no, you're wrong, check this data out, but to try and work out what information and try and filter what information that I want to believe and not believe. So I urge people to, even challenge me, like if I'm going to have children, I'm going to say, hey, challenge me with like what I say. And if you come up with a better thing, like present it to me and we'll see if it's challenge worthy or not. I learned to challenge these things in the last couple of years, a lot of the personal development things. And I realized that a lot of the personal development tasks that people are being taught, they're being taught to people that are in fear. And this is where most of us all are at when we're trying to get out of replace our income. And I totally get it. Like I am no exception. I was there. My biggest goal was to replace my income because I was scared that I would have to be a plumber for the rest of my life. So all the personal development stuff I did was based out of fear. All the work that I did was based out of fear. But when we do any task based out of fear, like we're setting the wrong intention, I believe, to the universe. Like, I need this, and it's like a desperate vibe, right? It's a desperate vibe to the universe. Like, I need this. I'm like willing this into existence. Whereas if you come from a place of love, which is infinite and abundance, then you don't have the desperate vibe. It's kind of like dating, right? Like if you're like, I need a woman or I need a partner because I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Like there's desperate vibes, and it's gonna be harder to find a partner, which is your actual goal. And I feel it's very similar to with the personal development things. Is like if you're operating for a place of fear and you're like, I really, really want to replace my income, you putting out those desperate vibes can hold you back. Versus if you believe, like actually, like it's super corny, but you need to believe it to achieve it. But if you just like let that fear go and just go deep, like have a deep knowingness, like, yeah, I'm gonna replace my income. It's okay. It'll happen in time. That's out of a place of love. And then you don't build as much resistance through the fear-based mentality of trying to achieve that goal. So that's one of the things that's like a foundational piece of like what I struggle with personal development. And if I was to teach any personal development, like I would want people to understand and know that at least. And this is like, you asked me just a random question. These are things that I've been thinking about for a while, but I haven't put them into context and I haven't verbalized them. So as I speak, I hope it's actually making sense because I haven't gone away and honed in what I'm trying to say, but hopefully that at least makes some sort of sense.
I mean, I think it's very clear. I think we see it every day in our lives, or if we're, getting due diligences from members, or, if there's fear involved, people act kind of crazy. But if they have kind of a sober mind, emotionally sober, and they can kind of see things clearly and leverage the whatever happens to their good. But if they're in a state of fear, people just kind of go crazy, and it's not pretty and it's not enjoyable. It's stressful,
Yeah. Somebody I know, their car broke down the other day, and they're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to like get around and all that sort of stuff. And they just sent me a link to a car. It's like, they've already purchased the car like about almost a year ago, but it just takes a long time for the manufacturing at the moment where we are, and getting cars delivered. So the car's supposed to be delivered in a couple of months' time. And they're like, hey, should I just buy this one tomorrow? And it was a more expensive car. She was gonna throw money at the problem and could resolve the problem, but it was based on fear and based on emotions. So what you say is a really cool word, like being emotionally sober. And I just said, like, look, you could do that, but do you think it's worth like waiting 2 or 3 days and thinking about it, like, and then maybe buy the car if it feels right, like not out of in a rush? Yeah, and this is the scary thing for people that come to buying, and like how we tie this into buying a business is that people come to the community and they're like, all right, I need to buy a business in 3 months or 4 months or even 6 months. And if they don't do it, they're leaving, they're gone, right? It's like, I need to find some other thing that can actually help me do this because this doesn't work, right? But the truth is there's so many things that are happening within them. They're worried that it's going to take them a long, long time to replace their income. Guess what, guys? Depending on what you think a long time is, it may take you a long time to replace your income. But when you leave one vehicle, i.e. buying a business, to start another vehicle, maybe starting a business or investing in something else, you have to relearn the whole thing again. And then it's just going to take you longer and longer and longer. I think in the last couple of weeks, we've had multiple people come back to the community and say, Jaryd, I'm back. Like, this is the way to go, right? And they've done all these other things, like got busy with all these other things, ran around in circles, headless chicken, came back, realized, all right, cool, I'm just going to stay here and buy something, and realize that, what's the worst case scenario if you do this in 2 years and you buy a business? Is that really that bad? Like, that you buy something that you can build and grow that's going to be able to replace your income, or you can buy something that will already replace your income. It's very interesting, and it's easy for me to talk about it now because I've been through it, and I can look back on my journey and see how I operated from that point of view. And it's totally normal. And I'm not pointing my finger at anybody because I get it. I have empathy. Like, it freaking sucks to be in that position where, like, I need this so bad, and like trying not to put out desperate vibes. But if people just slowed down, like, and understood this other philosophy that I have, that like time is with you, not against you. Like, everything happens in a much more organic way when you put time on your side versus having time against you. Most people believe that, all right, I'm going to put up a barrier of 3 to 6 months to buy a business. What they're doing is they're putting time against themselves, which puts them in that fear state and that stress state. And the more fear we have, the more stress we have, the easier it is for us to drop the ball and make mistakes. Versus go, no, time is on my side. Even if I just give myself like a 3-year time span, like, I can do this in 3 years, and I'm not operating from a place of fear because I've got a lot of time and it's going to happen. And then they have this state where they're in the state of like, I actually believe I can do it because time isn't an issue. If I just stick to this and I commit to, like, even if people just say, if I commit to buying a business or commit to being in online business for 10 years, it's going to be hard not to have incredible results. If you just commit to it for 10 years, if you commit to something for 10 years, you're going to be freaking great at it and you're going to get success. So why, I get why, because like, you want it now, we want it now. Like, we want everything yesterday. But if we slow down and, like, coming back to what you were saying, if we slow down and actually just became more nicer to ourselves, like what you were saying at the start, like, we're going to set ourselves up to win, not fail. Most people set themselves up to fail. And it's only because they've been taught to.